What if reality is not happening to you, but responding to you? What if the world around you is not a fixed prison, but a living mirror reflecting your beliefs, your emotions, your frequency, and the meaning you give to everything that happens? Most people are taught to see reality as solid and external. They believe circumstances define their lives. Money defines their security. Time defines their possibilities. Fear protects them. And death is the final end. But there is another way to understand existence, a way that appears in many spiritual teachings, and that is deeply present in the teachings of Bashar. This is not about blindly believing in someone. It is not about turning a teacher into an idol. It is about exploring a different model of reality, a model where consciousness is not separate from life, a model where your inner state is constantly communicating with the world you experience. The first idea is simple, but powerful. Reality is more like a mirror than a wall. When you look in a mirror and see your hair messy, you do not try to fix the reflection by touching the glass. You fix yourself. In the same way, trying to change only the outside world without changing your inner definitions is like trying to correct the image in the mirror instead of the source of the reflection. This does not mean blaming yourself for every painful experience. It means recognizing that, inside every situation, you still have one point of power, the meaning you give to it. The same event can break one person and awaken another. The difference is not always the event itself. Sometimes, the difference is the interpretation. According to Bashar's model, existence follows 5 basic laws. The first, you exist. What exists cannot become non-existence. Consciousness may change form, body, dimension, or perspective, but it does not become nothing. The second, the one is all, and the all is one. You are not a lost fragment in the universe. You are an expression of the whole, experiencing itself from a unique point of view. The third, what you put out is what you get back, not as punishment, but as resonance. Like a radio, you receive the station you are tuned to. The fourth, everything changes, except the first 3 laws. Forms change, bodies change, circumstances change, but existence, unity, and resonance remain. And the fifth, everything exists here and now. Transformation does not happen someday. It happens now, because now is the only place where your frequency can shift. Another central idea in Bashar's teachings is excitement. But excitement does not mean shallow pleasure or reckless emotion. It is described as a compass, a signal from your higher mind, a direction that shows where your energy naturally wants to move. The formula is simple. Act on the highest excitement available to you. Do it with integrity and with the best of your ability, and release your attachment to the outcome. This is the hardest part, because the ego wants control. It wants guarantees. It wants to know how, when, and through whom everything will happen. But the physical mind can only see a small part of the map. When you insist that life must unfold in one specific way, you may close the doors through which synchronicity was trying to enter. Following your excitement does not mean abandoning your responsibilities. It means choosing, from what is available now, the path that feels most alive, most honest, and most aligned, and then taking the next step. Not 30 steps ahead, just the next one. Another important concept is that tools are not the source of power. Rituals, affirmations, crystals, visualization techniques, manifestation methods, all of these can be useful, but they are not powerful by themselves. They are permission slips. They help you give yourself permission to access a state that already exists within you. The danger begins when the tool becomes a dependency. When you believe you cannot manifest unless you follow one exact ritual, or you cannot feel protected unless you use one specific object, or you cannot change unless conditions are perfect, then the tool no longer liberates you. It limits you. The real power was never in the technique. The power was always in the consciousness using it. There is also a phase many people fear, the in-between, that moment when the old life has collapsed, but the new one has not arrived yet. The old identity no longer fits. The new identity is not fully formed. Nothing seems to move. Many people call this failure, but Bashar describes it as limbo, and limbo can become a point of power. Negative limbo is when you freeze in fear, complain, and keep repeating the story that nothing works for you. Positive limbo is when you stop forcing reality, but you also do not abandon yourself. You keep acting in the direction of your preference. You stay open. You allow reality to reorganize. Because sometimes silence does not mean nothing is happening. Sometimes silence means the structure is being rebuilt behind the scenes. Another powerful idea is that continuity may be an illusion. Life feels like one continuous timeline. But from this perspective, reality is more like a film made of countless frames. Each moment, consciousness shifts from one frame to another, one version of reality to another. And what connects these frames is your definition of yourself. If you keep defining yourself as unlucky, abandoned, poor, rejected, or broken, you continue selecting experiences that confirm that identity. But when your definition changes, your relationship with reality changes. Even the past can lose its emotional weight. The facts may remain the same, but the meaning becomes different. And when meaning changes, the future no longer has to repeat the past. This also changes the way we understand abundance. Most people believe abundance means money, but Bashar defines abundance as the ability to do what you need to do, when you need to do it. Money is one channel, but it is not the only one. Abundance can come through opportunities, through conversations, through exchanges, through gifts, through creativity, through unexpected solutions, through people, through timing. When you demand that support must come only through money, you close the other doors. Sometimes what you need is not more money. Sometimes what you need is courage, a conversation, a new idea, a different route, a willingness to receive in a form your ego did not expect. True abundance is not just accumulation, it is flexibility. Then comes fear. Most people treat fear as an enemy, something to destroy, something to escape. But in this model, fear is a messenger. It shows you where a belief is out of alignment with your true nature. The question is, what would I have to believe is true about myself in order to feel this way? If you feel jealous of someone's success, maybe you believe there is not enough space for everyone. If you fear rejection, maybe you believe rejection means you are unworthy. If you feel trapped, maybe you believe you have no choice. Once the belief becomes visible, it begins to lose power. Fear is not the monster. Fear is the message. And when the message is understood, the fear no longer needs to scream. Finally, Bashar speaks about a collective turning point, a shift in consciousness, a time when old systems begin to break because they can no longer hold the energy of what humanity is becoming. This can look chaotic, but chaos is not always the end. Sometimes it is the breaking of an old pattern, the ground being opened before something new is planted. Whether we interpret this literally, spiritually, or symbolically, the message is clear. The state of humanity affects the reality humanity experiences. Fear creates one reflection. Clarity creates another. Panic creates one path. Responsibility creates another. And each person contributes to the collective field. Your thoughts matter. Your choices matter. Your frequency matters. Even your peace matters. And what about death? From this perspective, death is not the end of consciousness. It is a change of form. The brain is not the creator of consciousness. It is more like a receiver, like a radio tuning into a signal. When the radio stops working, the signal does not disappear. It simply is no longer transmitted through that device. This does not remove grief, but it offers another possibility, that life is greater than the body, and consciousness is not trapped inside matter. It is expressing through it. So maybe the real awakening is not waiting for something outside of us to descend from the sky. Maybe awakening is the moment we begin to embody more unity, love, clarity, compassion, and responsibility in our own lives. Because the world does not change only when systems change. It changes when individuals stop living as victims of the mirror and begin to recognize themselves as participants in the reflection. You are not here to control every detail. You are not here to force reality. You are here to align with the version of yourself that already matches the reality you prefer. So the question is not, why is life happening to me? The real question is, what am I believing so deeply that reality keeps reflecting it back? And if that belief no longer serves you, you can choose again. You can define yourself again. You can tune into another version of life. Not someday, Not when everything is perfect. Now, because everything begins now. If this message resonated with you, write in the comments, "I choose my reality," and subscribe to the channel, because in the next videos, we will go even deeper into consciousness, manifestation, abundance, and the hidden laws behind reality.